Hello and welcome to Tuesday Talks by Lex Parley. I am here with Advocate Manish Manocha and I am Sukanya Singh, and today's topic is cyber crimes and its various facets. I will begin with introducing Mr. Manish sir. Manish sir holds an LLB degree along with a Masters of Computer Applications degree in Information Technology. He is founder of Elite CIO and Association of Chief Information Officers of India to connect vendors and technology. And he is an expert in cyber law and forensics, data privacy and compliance. Sir, we'll begin with questions if you allow me to.
Please.
So the very first question to you is that can you please throw some light on the concept of cyber crimes? What are cyber crimes?
So broadly speaking, cybercrime is any type of illegal activity that takes place via digital means. So when I say digital means, that involves computers, that involves internet, that involves network devices attached to the network, everything which is information and communication technology devices. So when these devices are used to trigger some illegal activity, we call it cybercrime. So cybercrime has a very wide range. It can be a simple tweet, or it can be a post on your Facebook wall, which is defamatory. And it can go to an extent where people are victimized of frauds and data theft. So in cybercrime, either computer is used to commit the cybercrime, or they are the target itself. So when I say cyber enabled, then the computer and the internet are used to trigger the crime. For an example, online harassment. Where somebody will use internet or a PC or a computer or a mobile device, and they will do a certain activity to defame someone or to harass someone. And then second is computer dependent. These kind of cyber crimes are different than cyber enabled crime. And then they use ICT, which is information and communication technologies, as a target. So they target the ICT devices. Maybe suppose somebody takes the control of water or drainage system of any country, we can cyber terrorism. Or there are a lot of traffic coming into somebody's website or portal, and that website and portal is not able to deliver the desired results. So here, the computer or the network systems are targeted. Now, internet anyway has added a lot of good things in our life, but it has also given rise to a new dimension in area of crime, or I would say new technology coming in. Criminals also have started adopting it or using it against innocent people. So as far as benefit aspect of cybercrime is concerned, so either cybercrime can be for the monetary benefit, or at times it is used for indirect reasons like political purpose or some personal purposes also. So if you see across the globe, there are 3.7 billion users over the social media. And on an average people, there are somewhere around 7 social media profile or account attached. Most common target websites here is, I would say, is create the fake profile is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. So broadly, cybercrime can be categorized as a crime against an individual, or it can be a crime against corporate, or it can be a crime against the government. So these are broadly defined the cybercrimes.
So moving on to the next question. Can we say that cyber crimes have developed faster than laws across the world?
You're absolutely right. It's absolutely true. So rather, I would say that cyber crimes have developed much faster than the laws. So if I take an example, Indian law related to cyber crime, which is Information Technology Act, it was amended 12 years ago. Right? Since then, there has been a lot of new technologies coming in. And now for this, you would need to understand the basics first. So cybercrime is generally committed using the technology. And no doubt technology is moving too fast. There are a lot of new technologies coming in. In recent years, we have seen voice command devices like Alexa coming in, these are coming in. IoT is also Internet of Things is coming in. People want so much, advancement in technology. They want to use the devices which are equipped with internet. So like washing machines are IoT devices. There are few lights which are IoT devices. So we want the luxuries all the time. So blockchain is a new technology which is coming in, which is picked up very well in recent years. So for an example, IoT, if I take as an example, is Internet of Things has brought new challenges also along. So as far as controlling cyber crimes are concerned, cyber criminals are now posing and directing the attacks onto these devices as well. So you are absolutely correct that if you see the laws are not at that pace, at the pace that cyber crime is coming up.
So, okay, moving on to the next question. How has the modus operandi changed over the years in relation to cyber crimes?
The cybercrime landscape has changed in last few years, right? So criminals are very smart now. So they adopt the technology much more faster and quickly than a normal user. And they also integrate it with their existing way of functioning, and they keep changing their modus operandi. Now we have seen in recent days like how latest technology was used by the criminals. Okay. So I won't take the name of the organizations, but we all know that how big business houses were brought down to their knees using ransomware. Okay. So e-banking fraud has come into the picture now. Social media deception is anyway, which is catching up now. And if I say in earlier days, defamation or using internet for sending obscene content were the only thing people were facing. But now the tangent is absolutely changed. Now the online trading of illicit goods or be drug or weapon is a new trend coming in. Okay, the social media is being used to target potential victims. And the technology is used, the technology what they use is called reconnaissance, where when user actually uploads or posts the information more than required information on internet, so they become a very potential target for the cyber criminals. Then phishing, cyber stalking, cyber harassment, etc., were already there for a long period. And the latest is fake news. So there are a lot of fake news coming in, and they are really causing problems now. And one thing what I would like to highlight is, which is coming up, is a drone. So cyber criminals have, they've started using the drone also to commit such crimes, be it the illicit or the illegal deliveries of the illegal material to the end user or something. So this is something very tricky now.
Upcoming.
Yes.
Okay, sir, we have listed a lot of cyber crimes. So my question to you is that how shall we try to not fall prey to cyber criminals? And will I be correct in saying that adolescents and children are more vulnerable to falling victims to cybercrime?
Last year I had an IC3 report, which was which said that India is number 3 as far as the victim of cyber crimes are concerned. So it's not only the adolescent, but the senior citizens are more vulnerable, and they are an easy target. They're an easy target for cyber criminals. Now, there are a few things which we can adopt in our daily practice while accessing the internet. One is that do not open.
Yes, sir.
IC3 report, India is on number 3 as far as the victim of cyber crimes are concerned. So it is not only the adolescent, rather the senior citizens are a very easy target for that. So few things which I wanted to highlight here as far as the daily practice to access internet is concerned is we should not open any kind of suspicious email link unless we are not sure that this is from trustworthy source or from known source. We should not open it. We should not download any untrusted mobile apps, because these days there are a lot of apps which will say you can download and you can test and check your oxygen level due to this. I mean, this corona thing, they will give all this, all these titles say that you can download this app and you can constantly monitoring your oxygen level. So we should not download these kind of mobile apps unless it is not recommended from any government or any approved authority, right? And then password is something which is very important. Most of the time, the crimes which take place on internet is because of very weak passwords, right? So this is something which people do not realize, right? So they will have very simple passwords. So we should try to avoid simple passwords. We should have a strong password. There are different few sites will tell you to adopt a nomenclature where you have to follow the one capital letter, or they have a fixed set of parameters which you have to follow. But in a way that we should all have a very strong password. Then second thing is that we should recheck and revalidate the charity account. So in the last few months, there's an account which is PM Cares. And this PM Care account was even, there were so many fake accounts which were created in the name of PM Cares. So a lot of money, hard-earned money of people, they want to donate. It's always good to do charity, but it was actually going to a different account, which was not the PM Care account. And it was going to the cyber criminals, and they were going to wrong hands. Then we should keep educating children in houses that we do not reveal private information, because children or the new generation, they are in a habit of posting everything on internet. They log into the airport, they should post it onto the website. They are going to a tour, they would say going to this place. Each and every information they are in habit of posting on internet. So we should make them aware that they should not reveal private information online, right? And they should not get involved with anybody or any stranger on video chat, because it's very much, there's a possibility, and it's very much possible that they take hack of your camera, your web camera, and even if after the that chat is over, they can still take control of the camera and they can spy on you. Right? And we should educate them how to safeguard the internet and how to stay safe online. One more thing which I want to highlight is the work from home. So in the corona time, this work from home is catching up like anything. So, and this is actually helping cyber criminals also, because home machines are not that safeguarded as their office platforms. When we see the corporate offices, they have their firewall installed, they have their different security parameters installed, they take due precautions, there are safety measures in terms of intrusion prevention, there's anti-malwares installed, there are so many other technologies which are installed in the office premises. But if you talk about the residents or the work from home machine, they will not, these machines are not well equipped with all such a strong security, right? So one thing is that yes, we should keep our network at home also very secure. And the last is, if you fell prey, you should immediately report to the cyber cell or to the government portal, which is cybercrime.gov.in. So these few things we should take care, and we should follow as a practice when we surf on the internet.
Okay, sir. So moving on, my next question is related to cybercrime reporting itself. That will I be correct in saying that most cyber crimes go unreported? Is it because of just a second? Is it because of unawareness? And if this is so, how shall we overcome it?
No, you're absolutely correct. So as per the study on child safety, it is more than 50% cases which go unreported. The data may differ state-wise. In few states, that data may go to more than 80%, where more than 80% cyber crimes are not reported. Right. The major issue in reporting is that people are not aware that whatever is happening with them is actually a cyber crime. The second reason is people do not want any kind of publicity. So we know that how it happens here. You report a crime, then there's a list of activity which starts after that. At times it gets publicized also over the internet, and this is the main reason people actually do not report. Then people have a hesitation that even if they report it, the process is so lengthy, and the reporting would actually start another pain to the victim, because another process starts, which is the drilling the victim or so much of things. To control this, definitely the law should put actually the strict penalties in case of cyber frauds, also in case of other criminal offenses. Right? So they should be made, I mean, the crimes should be made non-bailable, because the bail gives actually an open hand to accused to play with the evidence. When he's out on bail, he can do tamper the evidence, because the evidence is actually on the internet and under his control. He will need that. So, and last is that we should actually build the confidence. The confidence has to build in people that our system is so strong, and it is strong enough to handle cyber crimes, right? And there are no escape for cyber criminals. These are a few things. Definitely, law should also be very strict, and as a general rule, we should also be
aware and
careful.
alert. So recently we saw this Facebook thing where Mark Zuckerberg was prosecuted for data privacy and all. So is data tracking and trailing through social media also a crime for violating the right of privacy of users?
This has two different dimensions, two dynamics. One is the applications in the social media engines are very smart. At times, they have this in their term of services, in terms of service also, that they can use and they can take your data. It's we who actually give the access to them. So I'm dead sure when you download an application on your mobile, you would not even read what license
The terms and
says.
conditions, yes.
We never read. So in some application, the terms and condition itself says that they can use your data, but there is the limitation. They can use their data. They can use within the periphery or limitation from their marketing or business development purpose, but they cannot use it for something else. Right? On the other hand, if the data is there and if it is being used without the permission of a user, of course it is a cyber crime. And then it is definitely an infringement in the, it is a violation of right to privacy. Right? And very soon India is coming with the Data Protection Act, which is taking care of all these things. So intermediaries, for that matter, all the data fiduciaries, they will have to take the permission of the users before collecting their data, be it in terms of cookies, be it in terms of written consent or whatever. They will have to take the consent of the users. But you are absolutely correct in stating that if without the consent it is being used, it is absolutely a violation of.
So moving on to the next question, that if we talk about uploading content on social media, there's no provision of scrutinizing what content goes on it. Is it suitable for all audiences at once? So is law in India equipped to cover this lacuna? And if not, what reform should be brought in the existing laws?
Social media are or the such platforms are covered under the Section 79 of Indian Information Technology Act, right? We describe them as intermediaries. And now intermediaries, as per the 2008 Amendment Act, they are actually enjoying the safe harbor provision. So having said that is, they actually enjoy the safe harbor means that they are being provided and it is given them the conditional immunity we call. But of course, there is a need to revise the IT Act and its provision also pertaining to the intermediaries' liability. Of course, there should be more liability to the intermediaries. And the Indian government is really coming up with the new provisions also, which defines and declares what new liabilities and responsibilities an intermediaries will have. Now, there are a lot of new technology coming, like artificial intelligence, which is also embedded into such kind of research engines. Then social media also has access to a different personal data, which is there. So the provision in the law should be related to the crimes. It should be committed on such technologies. That should also be provision in the crime. They should also be taken care. Now, there should be a special courts. This is what is my opinion. There should be a special code to process cybercrime matters, right? So, which will result in faster cybercrimes and justice will be delivered. And not only the users, but the rules should also be made for the intermediaries also, so that wherever or whenever a user is posting some data onto their platform, there should be a proper surveillance before that data is actually posted onto the platform. Before the posting, there should be some algorithm which they should run, and they should justify this content should go onto their platform or not. That also, the rule should also be made on this.
Okay, sir. Moving on to the next question, that with the recent incident of the boys' locker room, where a bunch of boys shared pictures of girls and shared lewd remarks on the same, how can we help the upcoming generation to be aware of and not fall prey to cyberbullying and harassment?
I would say the main reason for such crimes are that adolescents do not know even that this is a crime. So most of the time they do it for the fun sake. I'll give you an example where very recently a boy hacked the Wi-Fi of the neighbor. And when he was caught by the enforcement agencies, so he said, I just wanted to pose that how much intelligent I am. So I know so much about the hacking. So that is the reason he committed it, just for the fun sake, right? So this is the main issue. Now, they should be made aware that cyberbullying is also a crime, right? And what all comes under the scope of cyberbullying. So this information in terms of cyber awareness should be made in school level also. In the schools also, there is a constant session which should be delivered so that the students understand what is a cyber crime, what is a online harassment comes up or comes as a crime, or then we call it the cyberbullying. So these sessions should be actually held in the school level on very constant and continuous way. Now, third thing is at home, right? Parents also should be made aware that cyberbullying, like what is cyberbullying, and they should keep a track and eye on their children, that if such incidents happening with them, they should make them comfortable that they should report these things to the parents or to the person who they believe. Now, I would suggest that solution has to come from the, two sides, two ways. One is from the technology side, where the proper technical implementation should be there. The technical product should be there, which tracks what if the any child is actually suffering from this or not, or they should avoid the cyberbullying things. Secondly, from the psychological side, right? Parents and the peers should also be very, I would say they should be very cooperative with the child or with the person who is actually suffering from this. So there has to be twofold thing what we should adopt.
So moving on to the next question. Given anyone can upload anything on social media, my mother keeps looking at and watching videos related to the recent Riya Chakrabarti and Sushant Singh's murder or suicide. So given anyone can upload anything on social media without keeping in mind its authenticity or genuinity, can social media activism lead to delay or hindrance in justice?
I still remember an incident in 2015 where a Delhi woman posted a photo of a man and accused him of sexual harassment. So the Facebook post, as usual, was viral. It was followed by so many people, and actually the person was an idle case of trial by social media. And social media started labeling him as a pervert, and they started mentioning him as a Delhi Gadarinda and whatnot. But 4 years after that, 4 years later, the man was actually found innocent, and innocent, and it was acquitted. But things to keep in mind there is, during all that time, the man had lost his job, and nobody was giving him job, and he was a famous personality, and he was well renowned that he's the Dilli Gadarinda. So this is something very bad, right? So, but there is the next another thing is that there is a tendency among people to write articles on national newspapers, right? So, or subsequently, these are then commented on the social media. Now, these, I mean, suppose if I write something about a judgment which is coming up, then I create or I raise doubts. So when people write such posts or comments on social media, they are actually raising doubt on the Supreme Court's efficacy to deal with such particular case. Now, coincidentally, think of a situation if that article is published and then if it is circulated over the social media, and if it is where Supreme Court is, the hearing, the Supreme Court or any such court is scheduled, and then of course that judge would have a lot of pressure, right? So I mean to say that the exposure to the public remark and such sentiment toward that case before even the trial, it can actually lead to it can actually lead to it can affect on the judgment. So you are absolutely right in saying that yes, it is actually an hindrance, and it really puts a lot of impact on the judgments.
Okay, sir. So this would be the last question of the talk show. That how can one who is using social media be protected from falling prey to cyber crimes? This would sum up the whole talk show, and if you may continue to give any suggestion from your side.
As I also, the reconnaissance is something which is the basic cost. Putting more than necessary or putting more than required information on internet is the basis of to become prey to such cyber crimes. So we should be aware that whatever we post on internet, it will be shared, or it can be shared. So be wise with whatever you are posting on social media. Okay? Now set your profile to private. I'm not against on social media. I'm not saying that you should not have your profiles or you should not be active on social media, but you should set your profile to the private so that not everyone is has the access to your profile, right? So everything, whatever is there in your profile is private. Few information definitely you can keep for the public and for everyone, but the private information should be restricted. Then you should immediately block the person. If you think that if you get a message which is very, which is not good or which is unwelcome message from anybody, you should immediately block that. And you should also watch out for suspicious messages. Right? You should keep an eye onto the link or into the message which is coming up on social media, which will ask us or which will force us in a way to click on it, so that we get some benefit out of it. We should restrict that. We should keep an eye on that, and we should see that if messages from a trusted source or not. If it is not from a trusted source, we should not open that. We should restrict ourselves, because that the social media is really very it's something what we call is an addiction, and we should stay away from the social media addiction. This is what is I would like to sum it up.
Okay, sir. It was great having you on the show, and I think it will It will definitely help the masses to understand what cybercrime is and how to not fall prey to it. And